Everyone, welcome back to another week of our at-home science experiments. So today we're going to be doing a really simple and easy experiment, but it also seems to be everyone's favorite, and this experiment is slime. And so this slime recipe only requires 3 ingredients, and those ingredients are contact solution, baking soda, and Elmer's glue. Then you also will need a tablespoon, a half tablespoon, and a half teaspoon measurement, and then also a mixing bowl to bring everything together. But this experiment is really, like I said, simple. Doesn't require much, but it makes a slime of a great consistency that will be really fun to play with. At the end of the video, I will be adding some extra things you can add to make it a little bit more fun and in depth, but you can just do the basic example that I am doing in the video along with me if you would like. And then finally, as always, we need to remember to be being safe. So that means an adult should always be helping, and we should never be eating anything that we are putting into our experiments. So remember to stay safe as we are working on these experiments together. So let's get started. Before we actually get started on our experiment, I do want to mention that I used a 4-ounce bottle of the Elmer's glue, and this worked perfectly, so make sure you are using 4 ounces, which is usually the standard size. So the first step, as usual, is to gather all of our materials. So I have my mixing bowl, I have my measuring spoons, and if you can see, I have 1 tablespoon, a half tablespoon, and a half teaspoon, because that is the measurements we will need to be taking. I have 1 bottle of Elmer's glue, baking soda, and my contact solution. And the only thing with the contact solution is you just want to double check to make sure that it contains sodium borate and boric acid, because these are really important for the slime to really have that slimy consistency. So make sure you double check that, and then you can pause and gather these materials. So the next step is going to be to add your Elmer's glue into your mixing bowl, and you really just want to add the whole thing. I know it looks like mine's only like a quarter of the way full, but it actually is all the way full. The white just separated from the clear part, but it will still work just fine. So go ahead and pause your video and add all of your Elmer's glue into your bowl. After you have added the whole Elmer's glue bottle, the next step is to measure out 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and add it into your glue. And after you add it, you can just mix it all together. I'm just using my hand to mix it because it's going to get sticky anyway, but feel free to use a spoon or anything that you want to mix it with if you don't want to have the stickiness on your hands. And our next step is to add the contact solution into our mixture. And you're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of contact solution into it. The only thing is that you might want to do it slowly, because if you add too much, it can get too hard, and you can always add more if it's too sticky. So what I'm going to do is add 1 tablespoon, stir it, see how the consistency is, and then add the half and see if that is a good consistency. And if it's too sticky, I'll just add a little bit more. So go ahead and pause your video and mix in your contact solution until it's the consistency that you would like. So I only had to add about 1 tablespoon. I added a little bit more after that, but not the whole half tablespoon afterwards. And now it's to the consistency I want, but you see that it's still really sticky. So after this, you're just gonna knead it in your hands, and then you'll see that as you keep playing with it and kneading it, it'll become less sticky, and it will become a consistency that you can play with. And this is the slime after just playing with it for about 1 minute. So you can see that it's not so sticky, and it's more fun to play with because it won't get on everything, but you can see it's really stretchy. You can have a lot of fun with it. How does the slime form? Well, molecules in the glue and molecules in the contact solution combine and stick together. As they combine, they make something called a polymer chain. The polymer chain is what gives us the slime. So some things to extend on our slime experiment. You can use, obviously, food coloring, and you would just mix that in as you're mixing everything else in together to make it your favorite color. make it a little bit more fun. You can also use glitter, and you can do this by using actual glitter, or you can buy the Elmer's glitter glue. This would just make it less of a mess because we know how much glitter likes to stick to everything. And then you can also add some math in this slime recipe by measuring the length of the slime. As you could see from my videos, and if you've made it already, this slime is very stretchy, so you can figure out how long you can get it to stretch. Then you can even take a ruler and try measuring it out and seeing if you can make it longer, shorter, and experiment with that a little bit. But even if you just want to do the basic one like I showed in the video, that is totally fine. This is a great quarantine activity to keep you busy for a little while we are stuck in our houses. So the book that we are recommending to pair with this experiment is called Once Upon a Slime. This is a really fun and funny read. It just takes classic fairy tales and kind of combines slime with them in a funny way. So if you would like to check that out, that is written by Andy Maxwell. And otherwise, I hope that you guys enjoyed this slime experiment, and we will see you next week.